What is up, traders? Welcome back to yet another video. Today we're going to be looking at some of the pairs that I actually analyzed the previous week. I am going to be showing you guys what I saw on these pairs and what I actually took, some of the trades that I took. As you can see on my watch list, I have a whole list of pairs that I actually analyzed. I know that it is not advisable for beginner traders to be analyzing so many pairs because you can actually get confused. But if you've been trading for quite some time, you can actually do this because you know what you're looking for within the market. You're not going to be easily confused as to what's going on within the market. I know the specific things that I'm looking for, and I'm not going to trade a pair if I don't see what I'm looking for within the market. The first pair that I want us to look at is AUDCAD, and I'm just going to be showing you guys what I saw on this pair. So first we're going to be starting on the weekly chart to see what happened. As you can guys see, the market was actually pushing all the way to the downside. It was in an overall downtrend. It's been hitting these levels right here. From all the way, the market was actually pushing to the downside, making lower lows and lower highs, and it actually got to this point right here. So the specific candle that we're looking for is this candle right here. The market actually pushed all the way to our resistance level, and we can clearly see that from the past, every time when the market actually came to our resistance level, it started pushing all the way to the downside. So when the market was actually playing at this area, I knew that I had to be very careful because there were high chances that the market can actually start pushing all the way to the downside. But just because price is at resistance level, I always say this, it doesn't mean that price is going to push to the downside. Price can always push above your resistance level and start making new highs. Let's go to the daily chart to see what happened there. And when we hop onto the daily chart, we can clearly see that the market was actually somewhere right here. I made this counter trend line right here to actually help me know when the market is going to start pushing all the way to the downside. And I set this as my first TP if the market happens to break to the downside. But we can clearly see that the market pushed a little bit up and then it came to test this level. You can clearly see that it touched twice right here. This was one, this was two. It came back to touch another time. And that's when it actually started pushing all the way to the upside. When I switch to the 4-hour chart, we can clearly see that this could have been a nice buy because the market was actually stuck right here. Let me just highlight this area so that you guys see. The market was stuck right here and it actually gave us two touches right here. And if you actually paid attention to this pair, you would have known that when it came to this level, there were high chances that it was going to start pushing all the way to the upside. I set this level right here as my parameter to know when price is actually going to start pushing all the way to the upside. If price actually broke this level and retested it, that's when I would know that my sell setup would be invalidated and I wouldn't be taking sells anymore. Looking at what is likely to happen this week, I'm just going to keep this counter trend line right here to see what the market is going to be doing, because I know that there are chances that the market can actually start pushing a little bit down like that, or it could push all the way like that. If the market actually does something like that and break this level right here, that's when I'm going to know that the market is actually pushing all the way to the downside. I'm going to wait for my retests or my correction before I can start pushing all the way to the downside. But if the market actually breaks above this level right here, if it does something like this and starts giving me a pattern like this, that's when I'm going to know that the market is going to actually start pushing all the way to the upside. What you can actually do is that you can leave the market to give you a pattern like this, and after giving you a pattern like this, you can always just wait for another corrective move before you can start moving with the market. And after your valid touches, that's when you can actually start taking your buys to push all the way to the upside. So this is what you could do. And this is something that is likely to happen this coming week. You trade, but of course there are many scenarios that could happen, and you just have to be very careful with what you see and what you trade. You shouldn't try to trade what you think, but focus more on what you see and what the market is actually doing. Let's look at GBPUSD and see what happened there. Like always, we're going to start on the weekly chart to see what actually happened there. And from the weekly chart, we can clearly see that the market was actually pushing all the way to the downside. This is an overall downtrend. The market has been making lower lows and lower highs and pushing all the way to the downside, and all of a sudden it just started pushing all the way to the upside. And what I see right here is that price actually gave us a corrective move. This was a correction, and price actually hit our support level. And when I stretch it out like that, you can clearly see that this is a head and shoulder setup, an inverse head and shoulder, and there were high chances that the market was actually going to start pushing all the way to the upside. Let's look at the daily chart to see what happened there. When I switch to the daily chart, you can clearly see that the market actually came to this level. This is a very strong support level, and when it hit this level right here, that's when I knew that price is likely going to start pushing all the way to the upside, and this is our corrective move. I actually entered this trade, and I am of the opinion that the market is going to continue pushing all the way to the upside. When I switch to the 4-hour chart, I just want to show you guys what I see there. You can clearly see that the market actually broke this strong resistance level right here. Price was retesting this level multiple times and it was struggling to push above it. That gave me the idea that this is a very strong level that I have to look out for. And when the market actually broke above this level right here, that's when I knew that price is likely going to start pushing all the way to the upside. Give us a nice pattern right there, a corrective move. Like I said, I am of the opinion that price is going to continue pushing all the way to the upside as long as price doesn't actually start pushing all the way to the downside. If it actually breaks this level right here, that's when I'm going to know that our buy setups are going to be invalidated and price is going to start pushing to the downside. But when I look on 1 hour, price is definitely going to start pushing all the way to the upside, but you have to be very careful. You can clearly see that right now price is at a resistance. Let me just remove this and remove this. You can clearly see that price is currently at a resistance, and what's likely to happen is that price can push a little bit down like that before it's gonna give you a push to the upside. You always want to make sure that you avoid impulses like these. You can't buy when the market is high like this, because what happens after an impulsive move is that price actually comes back down and it's going to continue pushing all the way to the upsides. I would actually wait for the market to give me something like this before pushing up and wait for something like this so I can continue pushing with the market. But if price is not giving me something like that, I wouldn't be trading it, because it would be a little bit risky to be taking a trade that is just in an impulsive phase like that. So what I see on GBPUSD is price is likely going to start pushing all the way to the upside because of the strong support level and this strong resistance level that it broke right here, and what price is actually doing right here. So I'm just going to be looking at this pair very closely to see what is going on. But if it actually breaks this level right here, that's when I'm going to know that my buy setups are going to be invalidated and I'm not going to be taking buys anymore, and I'm going to start looking for shorts to push all the way to the downside. This is going to be our first TP. So let me just zoom out like that so that you guys see what's going on. This is what I'm looking at on GBPUSD. Okay, let's look at GBPCAD. Again, we're going to start on the weekly chart. Clearly see the direction of the market. Again, we are in an overall downtrend. The market was actually pushing all the way to the downside. It came back and made this strong low right here. But what's very important right now is to see what price is doing. Price is actually back at our strong resistance level, this trend line, this and this horizontal resistance right there, and price actually started pushing all the way to the downside. And when we go to the daily chart, you guys are actually going to see that price actually made this low right here, pushed up, and it made this low. And I am actually looking at this level. This is a level that I'm looking for to see if price is actually going to push above it, or it's going to start giving me reversal candles, implying that price is going to continue pushing all the way to the downside. But as to what happened the previous week, let's just look at the 4 hour to clearly see what happened there. From the 4 hour, this is what I saw. The market actually pushed to my support level and it gave me this corrective move right here. After this corrective move, I knew that price was actually going to start pushing all the way to this level before we can start looking for our sells, our potential sells, or the market can actually break above this level and start giving us buys. So at this level, what you can look for this coming week is how the market actually reacts when it comes to this level. If it actually starts giving us reversal patterns where we see head and shoulder setups, that's when we're going to know that the market is going to continue. It's going to start changing rather to the downside. But if the market keeps breaking its highs and creating corrective moves and pushing up like this, that's how we're going to know that the market is actually going to continue pushing all the way to the upside. You guys have to always know that there are always two scenarios that could happen. Of course, there are many scenarios that could happen, but if you're looking at price from these strong key levels, there are two scenarios that could happen. Price can either push above your level, or price could actually reverse and start pushing all the way to the downside. But you also have to be very careful. Just because this is a resistance level and you are looking for your buys, what can happen is that sometimes price can actually come to this level and not necessarily break this level, but give you a corrective move to the downside like this, and not necessarily above your level. So it can make a corrective move below your level and come back down before it continue pushing up to the upside. I hope you guys actually enjoyed this video and you actually gained value from how I actually approach the market and how I analyze the market. If you did enjoy this video, please do make sure that you hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you didn't. I will be uploading a lot of content to actually help you guys analyze the market and to better your trading. This has been me, and peace.